And here we are again. Once again, we're back on the airwaves for 2019. First time with Sal. And we've been looking forward to this, although I had a break, which I really needed, as did Sal, but we're back again. So good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are on this wonderful world. And how are you, Sally?
Oh, I'm fantastic. Thanks, Harry. I love summertime. I love being outdoors. I love the warm weather. I love what it does to my muscles and my body. It relaxes. So I'm just in Mecca heaven. And I'm so
Yeah.
excited to be back with you. 2019, new beginnings, all about peace, love and connection for me. What's 2019 about for you?
Well, it's been incredibly hot in Canberra. For us this summer, 35 Celsius is a cool change.
Whoa, like that's intense.
We have had, we broke the records, 4 consecutive days over 40 this summer.
Already? Wow.
Yep. We've had lots of days between 35 and 40.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's hotter than here. I mean, it's,
Yeah.
Wow, that's full on. But having said that, I still love the heat. I'm a heat girl.
So do I. So do I. It would be nice to have an aircon. We don't have an aircon.
Oh, dear. Oh, dear. Oh, goodness.
That's all right.
So what are we talking about today?
What are we talking about today? Well, this is your inspiration. The title is Letting Go and Saying No.
And it's easy to say and it's very difficult to do. Very difficult to do, particularly if you're a sort of a giver, a nurturer, that type of really, it's like if you're always giving and giving and helping other people, it's very hard to actually stop and say no to people and putting up some boundaries. It's difficult. I mean, I struggle with it. I've had to learn to do it, and I'm sure you have too over time.
Yeah, I think it's more of an issue for women because they're natural nurturers and they're mums, and that's what you do if you're a good mum.
Mm.
You suppress your own needs and you meet the needs of others around you.
Yeah, particularly, when you have small kids, like really small kids, there isn't an option of no, like in the sense that you just have to feed them. You have to get up. Doesn't matter how tired you are. It's just, you have to do it. So when I was reflecting back, I thought, I think that's where my behaviour of just, there is no other option, you just have to do it, was instilled in me when 4 kids and, I was up all the time and you just had to do it. And then that just became, you just have to do it for the kids. And I forgot about that in putting some boundaries in the rest of my life. So always doing. But the point is, if you keep doing that, you wear yourself out. You have limited time and limited energy, and always doing for others, and you get worn out. You literally get worn out, and then can turn into resentment, just doing too much. Here's a basic stat, and I'm sure it's way out of whack because it's probably higher than this, but 78% of women put off taking care of themselves because they're so busy taking care of other people. And the number one thing is kids. But number 2 on the list, pets. So pets, which it doesn't surprise me, having had a couple of dogs myself. Elderly relatives is number 3 on the list. Your spouse or significant other, your partner, is number 4. And then down the bottom was yourself. Now, I'm sure there's probably some others in between you getting to yourself, but that 78%, I'm pretty sure that would be even higher. That, they're so busy looking after other people, don't have time for themselves. And I've been guilty of that for sure in the past. Heaps and heaps.
I think that's right. I often, my clients are kids mostly.
Yeah.
And when I see a mum who needs work more than the kid, they will defer to their child every time. Say, look, we'll do the child first. And they always put their needs second. I think part of it is because, to be honest, the husband's usually missing in action completely. So it's left up completely to the mother and the nurturer and the carer. And then those patterns continue, you're right. So you end up with, a big kid, 40, 50, 60, same pattern.
Yeah.
Hasn't changed.
Yeah. And particularly when you hit menopause, you can't escape from your body. Your body is basically sending you messages. And then when you're constantly living in this doing for everybody else, it's building up this stress within your body. and your hair starts to fall out, or you put on weight, or your periods go, whatever, because your body's absolutely exhausted. That's what happened to you.
I think I must have had menopause.
Harry's had menopause. I love it. But it's going to take its toll over time. And you're right, as you hit your 40s and 50s and 60s, you start getting all these, you just can't keep pushing yourself and pushing yourself. Your body just won't allow it. And often you can get sick, you run down and chronic fatigue, whatever it is, you just get totally exhausted. And so on the flip side, I've done a lovely little model. Have you done a model today, Harry?
I have. I've got an awesome model with a palette, would you believe?
Oh, dear. You're going to trump me today. Well, I'll go through my little model. It's here, but it's too hard to see. Right, so.
No, we could see it. We could see it. Yeah.
Can you see that?
Yeah.
It makes a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah, so my first circle, if you've got a Venn diagram with your 3 circles, in the first circle, I've put boundaries. Putting some healthy boundaries in place to protect your energy and your time, so that you have some structure in your life where you can actually build in some time for yourself, or things are important to you, spending some time with the kids or going for a walk or something, but putting some healthy boundaries where it's a no-go zone, you're not available for other people at that time. Then if you have a belief in yourself, belief that you're actually worthy of saying no, belief that your life is valuable, that you have that self-worth, that self-esteem, just believing in yourself, belief that you are able to do this and say no, that's going to be really positive. And the third one, and I didn't have a B word, I've got a P word, but prioritize what's important. Prioritize what's important to you and your life, because it's your journey and it's your choices that define how you spend your time and energy. So prioritizing where you want to spend your time and energy is really important. So then if you believe in yourself and put up some healthy boundaries, you can choose the path you want to go on. You can choose how you spend your time and energy. And then if you have these healthy boundaries and prioritize what's important, you get some better balance in your life. So your time and your energy is balanced. I like to live by the 80-20 rule. So 80% do things that serve you, satisfy your soul, I like to say, and 20%, we all have things we have to do, commitments. That's just how it is. Drive the kids to school or go to work or whatever, earn enough to pay the bills. You just got to do those. But if you can find that balance so that you're okay with it, not worn out with your energy. And then finally, if you believe in yourself enough and really prioritize what's important, you live in a state of gratitude, because you're really grateful for what you do have. You're grateful that you have worked out where you want to spend your time and energy, and you're really grateful that you have that belief in yourself, that you're worthy of it all. And after all of that, if you have got all that in balance and in check, you've got this amazing self-care regime, if you like, looking after yourself, protecting your energy, protecting yourself, and creating a much better life for yourself. So that's my model. Do you like it?
I do. There's a lot of synergy with my approach.
Yeah.
So I think one of the things that happens to you as a mum and as a woman when you start taking care of everybody else's needs is that you lose sight of who you are.
Yes.
You lose yourself.
Yep.
So the first step that I've got in my model is to find yourself.
Right.
Identify your core values.
Yeah.
Find your passion. That's a really good starting point.
Yep.
And then when you've done that, start forgiving. Forgive big time. Particularly the stuff in your childhood.
Yeah.
The stuff that's built those roadblocks up. If you do those two things, it'll give you some clarity. If you've got your values, then you can be clear about what you need to forgive, because the resentments, the constraints, the anger, the frustration, all of that is an obstacle to you being able to shine in your own light.
Yeah.
And then you can free yourself from the actions which no longer serve you.
Yeah.
So it's about, no, I'm not going to make you breakfast this morning, kids. You're old enough to make it yourself. I'm going to go and sit in the garden and get quiet. Yeah. Commune with nature or whatever it is. So if you forgive, it can give you courage to free yourself from those actions which no longer serve. And if you free yourself from those actions and you found your mission, your values, it gives you choices.
Yep.
And then that, if you do all that together, it allows you to grab your goal. So I knew nothing about this topic before we set it last week. So I had a quick Google and I found this awesome Jewish book entitled Letting Go and Saying No by a guy called Rabbi Edwin Goldberg. Now, I'm not Jewish. I don't have an ounce of Jewish DNA in me, but this looked like an awesome book, and it touched on a whole lot of really important things along this journey. So stress less and do more. So thinking and acting at the same time, which was a lesson I learned in my 20s, that I actually didn't need to worry anymore because it didn't do me any good.
Yep, it's true. It's true.
Listen to your body. I mean, does eating a whole block of Cadbury's milk chocolate serve you or not?
No, at the time you think it might, but absolutely
well,
not.
Yeah. And, you know, restore the rhythm between work and rest. I thought that was a quote out of the book. I thought that was awesome.
And just going back to the listen to your body part, that's what I was saying before. The body sends you messages and you've got to listen to it. You have to be in tune with it because it's there to send you a message like something's going wrong. It might be a neck pain, lower back pain. It might be, I don't know, even an eczema, whatever it is. The body's trying to tell you something, you know, that hair falling out, you know, what are you doing? You're living with too much stress, you know, whatever it is. Listen to your body. I love it. So what was the one after that? Restore rhythm.
And we've all got a weak point in the body, and that weak point will give out when you're under stress, and that's what you need to listen to. So for me, it's my lower back or my leg, and, you know, for another person, it might be a twitch in the eye or whatever it is. Don't ignore it. So restore the rhythm of work and rest. That was the next one.
Yeah, that's that balance. Love that.
And then stay true to your brand. And I was thinking about this. Your brand, Sally, is holistically fit. So you are staying true to that. You're awesome about this. You exercise, you get out, you walk in the sun.
I'm passionate. And you eat
well. Yeah.
It fuels my soul. That's why I do it.
Yeah.
It keeps me in line. It keeps me balanced. It keeps me on the right page. Yeah.
Yeah. And so you're embodying this value that we're talking about today, which is letting go and saying no. And it's important to say no because that allows you to make space for the yeses.
Absolutely. For the soul satisfying stuff.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yep. What's really important, your family, friends, whatever it is, but that's super important, super important. Super important.
So some of the trade-offs you can make, just as an example, is you say less driving, no to driving, so we can do more walking.
Yep.
Less TV, so I can read more.
Yep.
Less junk food, so I can eat more real food.
Yep. Yep. Yeah, and having that balance, you know, sometimes foods, not everyday foods. But, you know, also part of saying no and letting go, it may be people around you that drain you, drain your energy. Everybody's got them, and, you know, these expectations that we have to be ticking all the boxes, you know, to live up to the Joneses, you know, and it's a very superficial world we live in. So it's very difficult when you've got so much pressure to be perfect. You know, it's too hard. And if you're a working person and you've got to have your kids looking right, feeding them the right stuff, you know, ticking all the boxes is exhausting. Like, let it go. Is it really important at the end of the day? It's just like, whoa, it's 24/7 world with expectations on every level. Have a nice home, have kids well looked after, blah, 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 be the perfect parent, feeding them the right stuff, be successful at work, put in all the great hours and all that sort of stuff. It's very, very exhausting. Let it go, baby. Let it go and just say no. And it's not easy, but, you know, when you prioritize, then it helps to put it into perspective. But, you know.
And often by saying no, you will actually serve the person for whom you would otherwise have done the action. So you say, no, I'm not going to make your breakfast, Johnny.
Yeah.
They will build the capacity to make their own breakfast, which will stand them in good stead for the rest of their life. But if you coddle them, tell them to leave home, well, they're going to go down to Macca's instead of getting dinner because they don't know how to cook.
No, they don't do that anymore, Harry. It's Uber Eats, darling. They don't even get up and go out the door. It's time to
Well,
listen.
I can tell you there's a Macca's opposite my clinic, and it's completely chockers with young people.
Oh, I just
So
can't
they're
believe
still queuing up, and they're still queuing up for the crappy chicken. We've got an outlet called Kingsley's Chicken, and they're still queuing up there.
Oh, that trans fatty acid, and it smells. It just smells gross. Oh, my goodness. Yeah, I don't know. My stomach can't handle it. But you're right. It's absolutely right. I mean, my kids, I drive them everywhere, but sometimes they can just do it themselves. They could actually walk. You know. Oh, I know. Oh, shock horror. What, with a heavy school bag? Yes. Yeah.
Have they got two of these?
I know. That's the thing. That's the thing, Harry. It's true. It's so true. I really love this topic, and the more we think about it, and when we stop and look at what we're doing day to day and how we're spending our energy, are we doing it wisely? Is it satisfying our soul, or is it crushing our soul? Is it exhausting us so much? What things can we cut back on that will allow us to have more boundaries in our life, to create a happier life, the one that you're choosing to be in? And I think that belief is really important, really truly believing that you're worthy of having some boundaries in your life and ability to say no to people or to things or situations. It's once you start doing it, it becomes easier. It's just that first time, then you do it again and again, and then people respect you for putting the boundaries. When you come from a place of love and respect and dignity, you're not hurting anybody, but saying, sorry, I'm not available tonight because I'm going to stay home with the kids and we're going to play a board game or whatever it is.
Yeah, I mean, one of the things as a therapist that we've all had to struggle with is we've got clients who we can serve the best. We call them our A-grade clients.
Yeah.
And when we get a C or a D grade client walking in and wanting our services, we actually have to say no because they need to go somewhere else. We're not going to serve them well. And that's really a hard thing to do initially.
It's very hard, but it's on both sides. They won't be fulfilled for what their expectations are and their needs. And then you won't be able to deliver a quality product because it's the wrong type of client.
Yeah.
Oh, that is very difficult. It's very difficult. So, yeah.
Particularly if, there's a big bill to pay next week.
Because it's not just about the money, is it? You got to serve people with what they want. And if they're not going to get what they want, I know it's very difficult. You can't be ruled by the money. You have to be ruled by the quality of the service, baby.
And when you talk about, loving yourself and the respect, it's about being authentic, isn't it, Sally?
Absolutely. Yes, that's so true. I'm going to write that down because I love that word, being authentic. Because it's a hard world to be authentic in. Well, it's not hard, actually. Just a lot of people struggle with it to be real and be themselves and speak their truth.
I think it is hard. I think there's much more pressure on people. There's pressure 24/7. There's pressure on social media.
Absolutely.
It's awful.
As I said before, and no wonder depression is so high and mental illness. It's just too much. You crack.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. But anyway, I've loved this topic today, Harry. I've really loved reuniting with you, getting back into 2019, kickstarting, baby.
Exactly.
Look forward to
it.
And
we've got another 3 topics from that one text you sent me.
Watch out, people. Yeah, I'm on a roll. I'm on a mission.
Yeah.
I'm passionate.
So we'll see you again next Tuesday.
Yep.
And look forward to it.
Okay, Harry. Well, I'll catch you later, baby.
Okay.
Thanks, everyone. We'll see you soon. Bye.
Bye.